So we're looking at one thing I want to show first before I go into my surgery and the reasons why I was able to get through Social Security so quickly. Most people have to fight for years or so. From beginning to end was about 10 months for me. Now, people want to talk about results and stuff like that. There's no way. There's no way. But first I wanted to show this because I made a statement earlier today that, I made my statement about my medical cannabis and how I just started smoking maybe 3 weeks ago. So this is from March 27th. So that's about as far back. It's a little bit after that. This is the drug screen, which I get all the time. None of that. 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 Now, after my surgery, they did give me oxycodone, and I didn't like it because of the potential for addiction, with the opioids. And I do have an addictive personality, but it wasn't never for pills. So they gave me the 5s 4 times a day, and I would take 1 5 a day. But the doctor encouraged me to take them the right way, and they made me a little bit loopy, but they were really helpful with the pain. That was negative. That was negative. Now, this is the pH level. But what I wanted to show was this. Because I don't lie. The weed is helping. I quit for the longest time, though. Let's go to... Okay, I can't put the... This just gives the basic of what I was looking at. The arthritis, and I had the L4 was slipped onto the L5, and along the way it tried to fix itself, and it gave me bone spurs, and it took all the cushion out of that one. And then on top of that, it was pinching 3 nerves, which caused extreme pain every day, all day. And I was working a really good job, probably, 50 hours a week. And then they started to notice, and I started to notice too, that I couldn't reach like I used to. I had to sit down more, and I was on a job where I just couldn't do that. And so they cut my hours, and that's when I really started going to the doctor, when they cut my hours because of that. And I was working part-time for a while there. And that job was just so physically strenuous that I just got to the point where I couldn't do it. I'd have to come home and recover. My back would be on fire after a top-down stenosis, Danelle. Because we couldn't figure out why that it would progress through the day, as I was moving around. And it seemed like, let's say I wake up and I'm moving around, it seemed like it'd be about 3 or 4 hours before I'm in extreme pain. And if I didn't stop and elevate or take some kind of medicine or even sit down for a while, then I would just be in so much pain that I couldn't concentrate or nothing. Because I had that sciatica was running all the way down to my toes. And it was all day, every day, to the point where sometimes I couldn't breathe. It was hot. So I started working. I was working part-time there at my main job where I made really good money because I was working these hours, and I go down because I can't do it. And then finally I had to leave that job. So that's when I knew that I needed to apply. And I went ahead and applied for the Social Security. And that the whole time I'm getting physical therapy, I'm getting epidurals, I'm hoping that they can fix my back so I can go back to my job. And they haven't been able to. So that was me, and that I basically ended up with this. Let me see. Let me go for visits. I'm gonna go. Let's see. Let's see what he says on the notes here. This is my follow up from my surgeon, and I don't know what he has to say here. Yeah. Yes. So this is what the doctor feels. 2 weeks. Yeah. So that's what that was. Himalaya, blah blah blah, and blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. So they tried to fix it, and they didn't even deal with the arthritis. You try to fix it, but the thing that gets me is when I'm taking these opioids. If I turn the wrong way in the bed, I'll get that shooting pain again. And if that pain was from an impinged nerve, and the opioids and the other stuff, I get meloxicam for it, uh, and the other over the counter. If I could turn in the bed and it's still shooting down to the toe, even though it's not there as long, I know that the potential is there, and it made me wonder how much the drug was actually stopping the pain. So I didn't take any pain medicine for a couple of days, and it started. I told the doctor, I said, "Yeah, it started to come back." So, I talked to him also about, he can damage a nerve when he pulls it out from under there after they grind the bone down, and he pulls these nerves out. He could damage the nerve and not even know it. I do feel some numbness now that's kind of weird in the middle of my back, and it feels like I've got a piece of gravel stuck in where the incision was at. I think it's taken a lot of the pain away, but no. Uh, no, see, I was hoping that it would fix it completely, and that I could heal up after 6 weeks, and that I'd be totally fixed, and I can go back to my job where I make 4 times as much as what they give for Social Security. I'd much rather do that. So, and as far as the Vistaril that they give me for depression, when I started having trouble on my job, right? Because that's a man's livelihood, and I started getting to where I couldn't perform it. There was a lot of reaching, a lot of bending, a lot of heavy lifting, a whole lot of it, all day, every day. And when I started getting to a point where I could perform that's very depressing. So I knew that I was having some depression. So that's I went and talked to them, to get some help for that. That's what you do when you're having depression. You don't write about it in a journal, that you might want to kill yourself, something like that. No, you go get help. That's what you do. So I went and talked to a doctor, and I get Vistaril and Dulcolax first thing in the morning, and the Vistaril 3 times a day. Which Vistaril is like a sedative, and the Dulcolax will help me sleep a little bit. But it really does help. It's very helpful. I still get stressed out. I wish money was like it used to be. I wish that I didn't have to go through the Social Security thing, but I'm glad that it's there for us. And when I applied for Social Security, I had the medical records to back up what my claim was. They sent the visuals in of my back and my spine, and there's other issues too. It's not just that. There's issues with my kidneys. They're watching a growth on my kidney, which they call it it starts with a C, complex cyst. And the doctor's watching that. Every 3 months I go in, they're watching it, see if it grows. If it gets up to 4, I think he said millimeters, they think it could be cancerous. But if it gets up to 4 millimeters, they'll just take it out. The kidney thing is, they're watching it. And then the kidney thing, that's something they're watching. I have issues with my prostate, too, which causes problems. The diagnosis that he gave me was anxiety and depressiveness due to, life facts. So that's my mental illness, and these things are just things that I can't help. So top down stenosis. Let's see here. I'm going to go to another one real quick. let's go to this surgery, which I was even questioned on that. I thought you had surgery. And how can I sit here all day long? Well, sometimes I'm sitting, sometimes I'm laying on the bed, sometimes I'm on my couch, elevated with my feet. But most of the time, I'm not moving around when I'm doing this. And it listed as a hobby on, the things that I like to do, because Social Security really, they look through everything. You have to consistently prove it, and they put you through the ringer. But they asked me what my hobby was, and I told them social media. And I picked up a little supervisory part-time job while I applied for Social Security. And they knew that I was working way less, right? For way less. And they knew I was working. I had my lawyers that I was working under what they call SGA, or SG, or successful, gainful, something, SGA they call it. But there's a certain amount, like if I could make under $1,460 a month gross while I was applying, considering the fact that that's, I was working way more than that. And you can do that. And they knew that I was working on a less menial job that's a supervisory job, that they made accommodations for me where I don't have to do anything physical. I do mostly delegation and paperwork and scheduling. I do inspections on the building, which I'm allowed to walk around there with my cane, which a lot of jobs wouldn't let me do that. I'm allowed to walk around with my cane and do inspections on the building, and I write it down, and then I have the general cleaners do what needs to be done. I schedule the floor work that needs to be done on the building. I schedule the carpet cleaning and the window stuff that needs to be done on the building. I handle all the inventory, all the stock that comes in and out of the building. I handle client complaints if there's anything in the building. The building that we do is a governmental building. It's a lot of it's a lot, and I like it. But I'm allowed to do that. And now that this surgery is over, they're probably going to give me a reevaluation on the back part. They said after a year, they're going to give me a reevaluation on the CDR is what they call it. And if my back is okay, and I feel like I can go back to the kind of work that I was doing, I have 40 years of experience on the one job. I went back to something that's menial, that I didn't have any experience. So what I had going for me, basically, is that I'm over 55. I've worked lots of credits. I've paid in a lot. I have never applied before. I have the arthritis in my back, two spots. I had the lumbar stenosis and the degenerative disc disease with the top-down stenosis. I've also got high blood pressure, but it's controlled. And, there's a lot of things going on. But you earn Social Security. So when I'm sitting there going, oh, you got to pay my bills. No, this is what I've paid into. And I paid into it, and it's there for us when something happens, right? If you're not able to. I would much rather be making what I was making than to get, the back pay wasn't even that much. It was only 10 months. It was only 10 months, and they take the first 5 months of back pay from you. So, I figured I'd get like a, $18,000, $20,000 back pay, but it wasn't even that. And I'm not worried about that, really, actually. But we did, Social Security is what we pay into. Let's see what he says here. One of the things he gave me as a side effect is that they could actually damage the nerve and cause more problems than there was. Now, I'm not feeling that sciatic part that was every day, all day long, but if I turn a certain way or I twist a certain way, it does shoot, which tells me that it's going to regenerate. If that nerve wasn't able to touch anything, I could turn a certain way and not feel it. And it told the doctor that too. So we'll see what he's got to say afterwards. They say it could take up they say, and they literally they say it could take up to a year to completely heal from this. Now, these are all the medicines that I'm on. Most of these, no, the gabapentin I'm getting, and it really helps. That covers a wide variety of stuff. This is for the prostate. This is for the arthritis in my back. The Cinepril, I believe, is a blood pressure pill. The hydrochlorothiazide is a water pill. This, I believe, is another blood pressure pill. The potassium citrate, no, I did not. Oh, yeah, that, they say that's for my kidney. Now, this right here is the Vistaril. It's a very low dose. It's a very low dose. And the duloxetine, the Cymbalta, that just keeps your mood leveled out. It's really good. It's a serotonin inhibitor. I got to watch taking that particular drug with the gabapentin. You don't want to have too many of those in there. Now, the diagnosis was just for anxiety. The anxiety is being nervous about, depression, bills. I used to be able to, like, I didn't used to have to watch money like I am now. So when Nicole, who's used to, hey, I want to go get this, hey, I want to go get that, and I'll budget it out, and then there you can go. I'm not used to having to tell her, well, we got to hold on for this, we got to hold on for that. It's very disappointing. But since I've been down, I did manage to keep up with things pretty good. But this is what I'm dealing with here. And this is even worse. My A1C was 6.7 last time. Yep, this right here. So, other, right? This is the surgical history over the last year. I've had 4 surgeries. So the hypertension. And I'll tell you now, my blood pressure did get rose up today, and I got out of character with her. But she is a very annoying person. Very annoying. You do not accuse a man of that. You just don't do that. But this is what the spinal stenosis is. And it's very, very, very painful. I guess we have to watch a 20-minute ad first somehow. It's crazy how they make you watch a 20-minute ad for a 20-second ad for a 50-second video. But basically, this is what I'm dealing with.
Spinal stenosis causes a constriction of the space for nerves in the spine.
These.
In the back of the lumbar spine, each vertebra has an opening that contains a bundle of nerves. On each side, a nerve root branches off and exits the spine through a space in the back of the vertebra called the foramen. Normally, there is plenty of room for the nerves in the spinal canal and for the nerve roots exiting the spine. With lumbar spinal stenosis, degenerative changes, such as bone spurs, can constrict the space for the nerves in the spinal canal.
I had that going on.
Bone spurs and other problems can also affect the foramen, constricting the space for a nerve root as it exits the spine. Symptoms of lumbar spinal stenosis may include pain and/or weakness or numbness that radiate from the lower back into the leg.
So, and that's very painful. I don't know how many people have been through it, but it's very painful. And I dealt with I dealt with the whole thing for, I don't know, probably started 10 years ago, I'd say, even or longer.
A lumbar laminectomy is typically performed to alleviate pain from lumbar spinal stenosis. Spinal stenosis is caused by degenerative changes that lead to
enlargement of the facet joints in the back of the vertebrae.
The enlarged joints and related degenerative changes place pressure on the nerve
roots as they exit the spine.
Each vertebra has two portions of vertebral bone over the nerve roots in the back of the spine. These small flat bones are called the lamina. The lamina functions as a protective covering of the spinal canal. In the lower back, they protect the cauda equina, the nerve roots that branch off of the spinal cord,
as well as the nerve roots as they exit the spine.
Removing all or part of the lamina
through a lumbar laminectomy can give the effective nerve root more space
and a better healing environment. In a laminectomy surgery, the spine is approached through a 2 to 5 inch incision in the midline of the lower back. Next, the left and right back muscles, called erector spinae, are dissected off the lamina on both sides and at multiple levels.
That's why I'm having muscle
After the spine is approached, the lamina is removed, allowing visualization of the nerve roots. The facet joints, which are directly over the nerve roots, may then be undercut or trimmed to give the nerve roots more room. After the surgeon has confirmed that all pressure has been removed from the nerve, the paraspinal muscles are sewn back together to cover the laminectomy site. After the lamina and any other sources of pressure on the nerve roots are removed, the nerve roots have room to heal.
That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for it to heal. And then we'll find out more on my post-op on the 6th. But yeah, that's the medical that's the medical part of it all. Here's my benefit letter to know. We found that you became disabled under our rules. June 30, 2023. Under their rules. Now, I'm hiding the dollar amount because it's rather embarrassing. It's enough to make my house payment and pay a couple bills. But we're gonna struggle through it. We're gonna handle it. But that is, we found that you became disabled under our rules. It doesn't say Danelle found that you weren't disabled under her rules. This is a governmental process. If you lie to these people or you mush fake them in any way, they will lock your ass up. And I still work. I'm still able to work. But I'm not able to make the kind of money that I was before, and that's why they give me Social Security. Quit being a dumbass.